I mean, you look at the 4 years of the Biden administration that we had, no accountability whatsoever for, I mean, not just January 6th, but all of the crimes and unconstitutional behavior of under Trump 1.0, which, seems dwarfed now by Trump 2.0. But there was no commitment whatsoever and no pathway to accountability. And that resulted in Trump 2.0. And voters like myself are looking to Democrats and saying, okay, you say you want accountability. What does that look like? What is it that you're going to do? What is the party going to do? What is the platform for accountability going forward? And then getting to Mamdani, I don't know very much about him other than the fact that he was an incredibly energetic, energizing candidate.
And he's getting shit done.
Right. But there were a ton of people. I mean, I take his actual term, set that aside and just look at the candidacy. Like, he galvanized people. People were incredibly, they were tuned in. They were paying attention. Like you said, he got young people involved. And Chuck Schumer wouldn't even endorse him. The Democratic Party wouldn't even endorse him. And so right. The Democratic Party can't claim Mamdani and that victory not because Mamdani turned his back on them, but because they turned their back on him. And so people are looking and they're saying, like, this is what we want. We're telling you what we want. And you're telling us, no, that's not what you want. You want this thing over here. This old motherfucker who takes a bunch of money from corporations. He's your guy. He knows how to get things done.
And then they're shocked when our party is discredited and we continue to say vote blue no matter who, and we're a big tent over and over. And yet that is only applied when progressives are upset about a more moderate candidate running, in a purple district, but never applied when there's a left-wing candidate running in a deeply blue seat. If you're going to say that we're a big tent, right? What did Abraham Lincoln say? He said a house divided against itself cannot stand. If you're going to say that we're a big tent or a big house, guess what? There's a left side of that house and there's a right side of that house. You can't just support one side or else the house collapses.
Yeah.
Well, and it feels like the collapse is going to come if we don't do something. So therefore, we must do something, in the sense that so many people are afraid of taking a risk. And I get that. If you're entrenched in power and you've held your seat for a very long time, it's risky to do what is the right thing, what they know the right thing to be, because then, they may lose their seat and not have access to that power and not be able to leverage that power to help their district. But this is going to crumble anyway. And so it's like, you got to take the chance. Like, this just feels like we're at a Hail Mary sort of situation when we shouldn't be. And I think that's what's frustrating for me, is because it's very obvious what, as you said, Mike, what energizes the people. I mean, I loved watching Mamdani's campaign, and I kind of sat nervously hoping, oh God, I hope he fulfills some of the things that he said he would do. And then to watch him come out of the gate crushing it, to have his administration just so prepared to just do the work of government, which is, and that's another thing. Everything is just constant campaigning. The way the system is set up right now, it just feels like everyone's always in a campaign. They're never not campaigning. It's like Glengarry Glen Ross, right? Always be closing. And if they're always selling themselves, they're always closing the deal, there's no time left to govern. And people see that.
And guess what? It doesn't have to be that way. There are other countries where you cannot campaign until a certain time period before the election. It is literally not legal. It is possible for us not to, like, things do not have to be horrible like they are right now. It is possible for us to change this. There are states with public financing of elections. We could do things like going out and taxing super PACs to help do public financing of elections. Like, this is a solvable issue. The issue is not that we don't have the solutions. The issue is that we don't have the people with the right values in power to do the right thing. Zoran has been successful not because he's a political savant, as much as people would like to think that, and I think he is very talented. He has been successful more than anything because he has the right values and he stuck to them, and he used democracy in the way it should be, where you say what you actually believe and you expand the electorate. Because guess what? Andrew Cuomo should have won that election. If it was a normal election with a normal electorate, he was going to win. But because Zoran actually did what good Democratic leaders do and give something that people actually believe in, he got the non-voter to actually vote. He got young people out to vote. He got 50,000 volunteers to show up. And if we're going to really start to rebuild trust in our country and in our party, that starts with the bottom up. It starts with mayors. It starts with state legislators. It starts with our governors, and showing people that we can deliver for them and fight back against the special interests that are destroying our lives.
Yeah, no, I tell people all the time, stop giving money to the National Democratic Party and start giving money to organizations like Leaders We Deserve, or candidates in your communities that represent your values and are willing to go to Washington and say no to, to corporate interests and corporations. But unfortunately, that money is going to come regardless. So it's going to be up to, us, the voters, to replace it with our own hard-earned money. And putting it in the hands of these campaigns and organizations like yours, David. So if you're watching this, dig deep.
Well, thank you. I mean, look, Michael, every organization I've ever had has a terrible business model. In that our goal is to not exist anymore. Whether it's March for Our Lives that we started after Parkland, and the work that we've done to cut gun deaths by about a third in this country since Parkland, happened, over, especially since its peak in 2020. Or it's the work that we're doing at Leaders We Deserve. It is ironic that I'm constantly railing in some ways against special interests and super PACs and everything like that, because we are a super PAC, except we take money from everyday people and use it to fund great candidates so that they don't have to unilaterally disarm. And we don't send the wrong message when somebody does the right thing, like not taking corporate money, because if they lose every time that they do that, it sends the wrong message that you have to take this money. And that's why we exist. But I really wish that the emails that I sent and the many texts that people get from me and everything like that, I wish that they didn't have to exist, because I wish we had a system of public financing where small dollar donors actually were the people that got to decide these elections, if there is any funding that comes in. And it, more than anything, it's the voters in these districts that need to decide them. But what I'll tell you too gives me a small amount of hope is that when I look at these elections and I see where there's been so much corporate money that has been spent, or money by AIPAC or other groups that has been spent, I can tell you the districts that actually has the biggest impact in or the least impact in, are the districts with the highest educational attainment. People that are actually, able to go and get an education, be well politically informed, are not swayed by that money nearly as much. And if we can build a democracy that properly invests in building real citizens that understand democracy, that understand the political system, beyond just what they're seeing on TV, we can also combat the influence of these special interests. But that starts with us fixing our campaign finance system.